hello to everyone on my YouTube page. I am Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon. And in case you are unfamiliar with me, I am a sacred sexual educator, and I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist and dancer. And you can also follow me on Instagram at the_Renaissance_Amazon_81. So I put all that below on this YouTube video. So I talk about a lot of issues dealing with the body. I study the body, and that also has to do with sexuality. That also encompasses sexuality. And I'm sorry for the babbly start. Sometimes it's hard for me to talk to a camera. But I'm a very open-minded person. If you are a student of sacred sexuality or someone who teaches or guides along that path, then you have to be. So even though I'm very open-minded, it doesn't mean that I'm into everything or that I like everything, right? And then I have my personal life, and then I have, professionally, when I'm working with clients and helping them and teaching them. So today I want to talk about domination, right? I generally am not into it, okay? So I am not somebody who has ever sought out being a dominatrix. Like, I want to be a dominatrix, I believe in love, not war, okay? I believe in no drama, and I'm not an actress, okay? But maybe one can say I have something dominant inside of me, but it's not like a dramatic type of thing where, and I feel like a lot of in the domination world is so broad, okay? It's so broad, and it can be so varied. And so for me, I never sought that out, but over the years, there are times that there have been men who just wouldn't leave me alone, wanted me to dominate them, and it could vary in different ways, right? And a lot of domination is very hands-off. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of it is very hands-off. And I'm not into anything too crazy, but I've dabbled in it because of certain people who have just not left me alone for years, and it might have been something that I felt comfortable doing because, like I said, I'm not an actress. So some people who are into things that's super dramatic or super crazy just wasn't my thing. But one thing I'm going to say about it, I remember years ago I did a blog talk radio show about domination, dominatrices, and I had, I'm sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that. I had this woman I know in Chicago who was a dominatrix for a long time, and she's a black woman, and we would talk about, I know that there are a lot of people who want to be dominated by black women. There are a lot of times that people have this homoerotic, and I've seen this especially with white men, where they'll have this homoerotic obsession with black men. And that has come to me a lot, even though I'm not a black man. And I've kind of not always understood it, but I think that with sexuality, a lot of things aren't to be understood. It just is what it is, right? And I generally feel like as long as somebody's not trying to hurt somebody or make somebody do something against their will or mess with somebody underage, then it's acceptable. Or you're not eating shit. Because I feel like when people start playing with shit, I think something's wrong with you. Now, there's a connection between spirituality and sexuality. They're of the same continuum. So I feel like when you start to want to eat shit and be shit on, there might be something wrong with you spiritually. Sorry to those of you who might be into that. That's just kind of how I feel. And that's a border I would never cross. But I've seen, for me over the years, I've seen a lot of white men, especially like Wall Street, those type of men who have expressed guilt. They would express guilt to me. They would express how they felt guilty for what their ancestors did. They would express how they felt afraid of black men or intimidated by black men. And that used to bother me. There's so many stories I could tell that I don't even want to get into in this video. But it became this weird thing because they want to call themselves a slave, right? But the thing about domination, a lot of times, the thing that I really don't like about it, which is one thing I really don't like about it, is the fact that the men who engage in that, it's really a control thing on their part. They are paying to have control over a fantasy situation. True slavery, people didn't have control and just be able to turn it off when something was uncomfortable, and it wasn't ever pleasurable. It wasn't something somebody was paying somebody to do or put them in that situation. That's not what slavery is. So I hated when I would hear white people use that term, and just how they could use that term with black people or with black women. And I've known white men who would say things like, they would talk about black women getting their, getting back what they owed, from white men. But at the same time, these white men were controlling the situation. Now, domination is not just, something that happens by white men. All kinds of people are into it. And you have different kinds of domination. You also have domination within a relationship that's more like freaky domination fun, which can be a little bit different. But when people use that term, I feel like it's such a broad umbrella of things that, like, you never know what somebody's talking about. There are people who almost like to be hurt and humiliated, spit on, pissed on, or whatever. And then there's a total flip side of it where some people, it's like a loving thing, a sexual, kinky thing, and they're not being humiliated or embarrassed, One thing I've seen from white and Asian men is, wanting a woman to make fun of their dick size, where most men don't want women to make fun of their dick size. That's not something they would pay somebody to do, but there are men out there who will pay someone to do that. So you'd be surprised at the broad spectrum that exists. I'm not really too much into talking so much about my personal life, but, the reason why I know certain things is because of, experiences. And I'm not one to talk about people, but there's one person that I've known for 15 years. And for 15 years, he has wanted to have a conversation with me about me cooking him and eating him. And this is the same conversation for 15 years about me roasting him like a pig and eating him. It's really freaking weird. And mixed in with that is this homoerotic stuff with black men and some fitness stuff. It's very strange, and sometimes it's really annoying. But time is money and energy. So if somebody pays for my time and energy, I'll have that conversation with him, even though it's not something that I'm into. It's not something that I'm excited about talking to this dude about cooking him and eating him. But if you want to keep paying me to do that because you want that from me, then fine, So I say that to say that that's not really my personality. I never thought to myself, I want to dominate people, and I get off on that. But sometimes people have a certain energy or a certain something that attracts that, because I know that has been the case for me, so I have begun, I accepted it over the years, but I still only dabble in what I feel comfortable with. But it's something that I feel like can be very annoying, because a lot of times the men who are into that, especially who are into seeking out women to dominate them, a lot of them play a lot of games. And I've been very pissed off by people, and I don't like dudes that get on my nerves. And I sometimes think some men do that because they want you to be mean to them, so maybe they feel if they piss you off, it'll be even more mean to them. But I'm just not into the mind games and stuff like that. And I don't even know why I made this video today. It's something that I've wanted to talk about and make a video about for a while, but I feel like I'm kind of rambling and not really getting into the meat of the conversation or the point. So I'm going to end this video, and hopefully it made sense to somebody. If anybody has any comments on the subject, share it. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video, and maybe what I really meant to say, the moral of the story, will come back to me. But, yeah, that's my little domination rant for now. I don't feel like people should be ashamed for what they're into. Like I said, as long as they're not hurting anybody, making them do anything against their will, or messing with minors. So I'm going to end this domination conversation now. If I find that there's things that I need to say or I forgot to say, I'll make a part 2. All right, people. Make sure you follow me here on YouTube at the Renaissance Amazon, and make sure that you follow me on Instagram, _Renaissance_Amazon_81. Have a good day, people. Thanks for listening.